Hello, my name is Alexandra Wimbish, and I'm here to talk about the Teenage Graduates Declaration of Independence. When teenagers grow up, it is their duty and their honor to leave their parents and go off to college, as their Bright Future Scholarship and high school diplomas entitle them. When this happens, their parents want them to choose a college closer to home. It becomes necessary for the teenagers to give their parents their most compelling arguments as to why living away from home in a college dorm is a much better idea. Clearly, the following is true: that all teenagers are created equal to their parents, that they are wiser than their parents, especially about the ways of the modern technological world, that they have the right to their own lives, free from their parents, free to experience dorm life, free to live without curfews and nosy inquiries about whether or not homework is finished, and free to pursue an education and personal space at the college of their choice, that in order to guarantee the best education, colleges are established in the US with lots of money from endowment funds backed by big banks and alumni associations of other parent colleges who think it's a great idea to grow a satellite campus and call it a new college, and then are accredited by the American Association of Southern Colleges Accreditation Board so that they can charge lots of money to new students that they normally wouldn't be able to get, and then throw that money back into their endowment fund to make their to make the parent college richer. That when a parent disagrees with this example of capitalism at its finest, it is the right of teenagers to pursue their parents that going away to college is a better way to go, using all the advice they can from peers, teachers, and the college website to make a really good argument. You getting this, Mom? Okay, yeah. Anyway, of course, teenagers never want to go off to college without parental consent. That's just stupid to cut off their parents' money just when they need it the most. Thus, in order to keep the money flowing into teenage pockets, teenagers are willing they're willing to suffer some discomfort of from their parents nagging at them. However, there's got to be a line drawn somewhere, and when a long train of groundings and abuse of parental powers by taking away a teenager's car reduce the teen social circle to absolute nothing. It is the teenager's right and duty to say enough is enough and make whatever preparations they need to be out from under their parents' thumbs. The history of the modern day parent of teenagers is a history of repeated social embarrassments and groundings, all having the direct intention of absolute tyranny over their teens. To prove this, let these facts about parents be submitted to Facebook. They have refused to be lenient with house rules, something very necessary when raising modern teens. They have insisted that their teenagers throw everything by them before they make a decision, even when decisions are made, or even when these decisions are of immediate and pressing importance, instead of making them wait until they have parental consent. And when teenagers do try and get parent consent, their parents ignore, stall, or forget the consent was even asked for by the patient teens in the first place. They have refused to let teenagers have large, rowdy pool parties with lots of their friends in the backyard lanai unless said teenagers agree to keep their friends out of the refrigerator, something all teenagers have a right to, and only a tyrant would refuse. They make their teenagers sit with the rest of the boring family at dinner time with the television off, away from their DDR, cell phones, and books, just so they can have family time and talk. They invade their teenagers' space repeatedly with stubborn firmness, making them keep their bedroom doors open, especially when they have a guest with them, invading their right to teenage privacy. Privacy. Yes, privacy, very important. They refuse, after just a few minor infringements, to allow teenagers to be in charge of their own computer time, and in the meantime, their chat room circles, which, for the record, are incapable of actually hurting or touching them, go without them, denying the teenager the immense pleasure of knowing everyone's business. Instead, while they are grounded, their avatars are vulnerable to hateful IMs, viruses, and worms, and any other electronic dangers one can think of. They have endeavored to prevent teenage friends who don't meet their definitions of decent to hang out with them in their bedrooms just so they can look good for the neighbors and keep the neighborhood safe. Yeah. Causing the coolest of their friends to find another place to hang. This is good stuff. I hope you're listening. She's always listening. They have been unfair by refusing to let the teenager do what he wants. They have made teenagers dependent of their will alone for the amount of time they spend on the phone and for the amount they get in allowance. They have birthed a multitude of new siblings and sent swarms of little brothers and sisters to harass teenagers and eat out their life force. They have employed, in times of parental business trips, adult babysitters without our consent. They have affected to render parental power independent of and superior to teenage power. They have given teachers power over us in a way contrary to our own good judgment, karma, and taste, giving consent to their acts of pretended goodwill. Excuse me. For forcing us to lug large bodies of school books on our backs, for giving teachers free rein to take us out for any supposed classroom rule we break, for blocking our internet access to our favorite websites, for cutting off text message networking with all parts of the school campus, for imposing lunch fees on us without our consent, for depriving us, in all cases, of soda and snacks on campus, for transporting us beyond our home computer against our will, under the guise of the pretended amenities of a free and public education, for abolishing the free system of English slang anywhere within earshot of a teacher, oppressing our freedom of expression, enlarging of our vocabulary against our will, so as to make us suffer as much as possible the horror of proper English, and then encouraging our math teachers to give us new vocabulary. For taking away our cell phones, abolishing our most valuable hooking up time by limiting travel time between classes to a mere 5 minutes, and for changing our class schedules without our consent. For referring us, detaining us, and suspending us, declaring themselves invested with the total power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. In every stage of these oppressions, we have asked for mercy and second chances in the most humble and cute of terms, but our pleas remain unheard of by deaf ears. A parent whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to demand that their grown teenagers go to a local college where they can live at home instead of on campus. Nor have we been inattentive to our parents. We have warned them from time to time that they are being unfair and that their punishments are unwarranted. We have reminded them that we could leave at any time. We have appealed to their sense of fairness and magnanimity, and we have begged them, by the virtue of our common genetic ties, to get rid of these repeated attempts to rule over us and keep us from seeing, talking to, phoning, IMing, online chatting with, and emailing our friends. They have been deaf to the voice of reason and sanity. We must therefore be allowed to leave home and get away from them and any other family member who may happen to live near a college and who might limit our freedom. We, therefore, the representatives of the teenagers of America, or at least those who hang out at Facebook, with the agreement of the Supreme Judge of the world, Oprah Winfrey, and her shrink, Dr. Phil, do, in the name and by the authority of the Federal Financial Aid Office and colleges of the United States of America, solemnly publish and declare that teenagers entering colleges everywhere are, and ought to be, free and emancipated, and that they no longer have to follow their parents' house rules, and that all such rules ought to be totally dissolved, and that, as emancipated teens, they have full power to have text wars with their friends, make peace with and beg their parents for money when they are broke, hang out with other college kids as long and as late as they want, decide when and where and on what to spend their money whenever they want, etc. Wherever and whenever they want. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on each other, we mutually pledge to each other the details of our private lives, our leftover fortune cookies, and our sacred opinions. Hey, I'm preaching the future here. I hope you took notes. Anyway, thank you for your time. I hope this has enlightened you.